me shift to Dwayne Haskins. So Dwayne Haskins has been released by the Washington football team. The Washington football team recently lost at home to the Carolina Panthers. Dwayne Haskins, he did not play particularly well in that game. I understand there was no Terry McLaurin. I understand the game plan was not very good by Scott Turner, but he played poorly. That's the bottom line. He got benched in the fourth quarter of the game for a guy named Taylor Heineke, someone that I don't even remember his name. I mean, it was bad for Dwayne Haskins. And look, Dwayne Haskins has been released. He's no longer a part of the Washington football team's organization. And listen, folks, when Dwayne Haskins decided to enter the NFL draft, I was a big fan of Dwayne Haskins. I was a strong believer that he could develop into becoming a great NFL quarterback. And up to this point, he's not come close. And he no longer has a job. And I'm not shocked that Dwayne Haskins got released. I'll get into the reasons why I'm not super shocked. But going back to when Dwayne Haskins decided to enter the 2019 NFL draft, at that time, if you would have told me that Dwayne Haskins would not even make it past 2 full seasons with the team that drafted him, I would tell you you're crazy. I would tell you you're stupid. I would tell you you don't know what you're talking about. I gotta hold the L, people. I thought Dwayne Haskins was gonna work in Washington. Dwayne Haskins, he absolutely balled out at Ohio State. I saw a guy with a big, strong arm. He was tough in the pocket, wasn't afraid to take a hit. He was accurate. He made good decisions. I saw him perform well in big games. Penn State, Michigan, Northwestern in the Big Ten championship game. He beat Washington in the Rose Bowl. He beat a lot of good teams and a lot of good defenses. And I said Dwayne Haskins had the arm talent, the accuracy, the swagger, the football IQ, and the mental makeup to turn around Washington's organization. And I felt that when Washington got Dwayne Haskins with the 15th overall pick, I said it was an absolute steal. Washington, they hit a home run, and it looks like they struck out. They struck out because here's the reality, people. I'm a big time Dwayne Haskins supporter. I still believe Dwayne Haskins can one day develop into a starting quarterback. I believe that he can do some great things for an NFL team if given a fair shot and a change of scenery. But here's the thing, people. Dwayne Haskins has no one to blame but himself in this situation. Was the situation in Washington ideal? No, it was not. Dwayne Haskins, he was drafted to a team that, quite frankly, did not want him from the jump. Dale Snyder, the Washington football team's owner, decided to draft Dwayne Haskins. There were coaches in that building that did not want to draft the guy, but Daniel Snyder, he put his hand in the cookie jar and he said, I don't care what you guys say. We're taking Dwayne Haskins, okay? He didn't trust the talent evaluators. It was a Daniel Snyder pick, not a coaching staff pick. And I think Ron Rivera definitely tried to give Dwayne Haskins a fair shake. He gave him an opportunity to be a starting quarterback on the team when he took over, but it just doesn't seem like Ron Rivera. Dwayne Haskins was not Ron Rivera's cup of tea, okay? And for what it's worth, Dwayne Haskins, he did sort of have not the greatest roster, not a whole lot around him as far as the offense goes. We look at the wide receiver core, the offensive line, but here's the bottom line. Dwayne Haskins has been a massive failure for the Washington football team's organization. And Dwayne Haskins, whether it was ideal or not, he was given multiple opportunities to become a starting quarterback for an NFL franchise. He was given an opportunity to take over a franchise, to be the guy, to be the franchise quarterback, and he failed. And he not only failed on the field, he failed miserably off the field. And it's pretty clear to me that Dwayne Haskins, just up to this point in his career, was not mature enough to lead an NFL franchise. It's really sad to me because I definitely root for Dwayne Haskins, but really the fact that Dwayne Haskins got released and why he no longer has a job, not even 2 full seasons into his short-lived NFL career up to this point, a big reason why he's no longer on a team is because of his off-the-field antics. We could talk about the fact that he took a selfie after his first ever NFL win when he didn't even line up for the game-sealing kneel. Case Keenum had to go out there and take the game-winning kneel while Dwayne Haskins was taking a selfie before the game was officially over. That was a red flag. There were reports that the coaching staff was frustrated about his work ethic. They felt that he wasn't diving his nose into the playbook enough. That was a red flag to me. There were reports that he was bragging about his stats after a loss to the Baltimore Ravens. That was a red flag to me. And also, last but not least, recently, he was found at a strip club, or at least he brought the strippers to him, but he didn't have a mask. And in a year in which we're dealing with a global pandemic, in a year where we know COVID-19 is a very serious issue, you can't be in a situation where you don't wear a mask. Okay, you're putting your teammates in jeopardy. You're putting your head coach in jeopardy. You're putting the franchise in jeopardy, okay? And it's not the first time he broke COVID protocols. And there were also reports that Ron Rivera said Dwayne Haskins' working habits changed once he named him the starting quarterback. That was sort of a red flag to me. And I truly think that if Dwayne Haskins wasn't so irresponsible off the field, and if some of those things didn't come out about him not working hard enough, I don't know how true those reports are, but listen, I don't hear those reports about Drew Lock. I don't hear those reports about Kyler Murray. I don't hear those reports about Daniel Jones. I don't hear those reports about Sam Darnold. We could talk about Dwayne Haskins being an immature guy at age 23 years old, but if you're a franchise quarterback, listen, there's only 32 starting quarterback jobs in the NFL for a reason. It takes a special skill set and it takes a unique personality to go out there and lead a group of men. And here's the facts. Mitchell Trubisky, is he the most talented guy? No, he's not. But at least Mitchell Trubisky has done everything in his power to become the best quarterback he can become. At least coming out of Chicago, there are rave reviews about Mitchell Trubisky from the coaching staff. Mitchell Trubisky, he might be a bust, he might be terrible, he might be awful, but there are reports coming out of Chicago that he works hard, that he's the first guy in and the last guy out. Same thing with Daniel Jones, same thing with Sam Darnold, and really all Washington needed Dwayne Haskins to do was just steer the ship. You know, they had a good defense. He just didn't need to turn the football over. He just needed to steer the ship. And unfortunately, Dwayne Haskins wasn't ready to do that. He was bad on and off the field. And listen, if you're balling on the field, you can deal with some of the strip club antics. But if you're playing poorly, that's not going to fly with the coaching staff. And I think it goes back to the fact that Dwayne Haskins did not have a whole lot of reps and experience in college, and I think that matters. And by the way, I'm not trying to say Dwayne Haskins doesn't love football. I'm not trying to say the guy can't turn things around. I'm not saying Dwayne Haskins is a bad guy, because I think Dwayne Haskins is a genuinely good person. I don't know him personally, but Dwayne Haskins hasn't done anything criminally wrong. He's just super immature and not at this moment ready to lead an NFL franchise. And because of his off-the-field antics, because he was not performing well on the field, Washington said, hey, we got to cut the guy. And it's an indictment on Dwayne Haskins, unfortunately. And it goes back to the fact that I think that he was a little bit overwhelmed by the NFL world. Dwayne Haskins only had 14 college starts back at Ohio State. It seems like the NFL overwhelmed him and humbled him a little bit. And there were reports that him maybe being a hometown kid kind of set him back. There were, friends in the local area that were kind of, distract him a little bit, when in reality, if he probably goes to a different team, it's probably better for him because he can be all about football. When you're the hometown kid, it's a little bit of a distraction because everyone in the area knows you. Everyone that you've known growing up is going to the games, and it was a distraction. And listen, I'm not ready to sell my Dwayne Haskins stock quite yet. I do believe Dwayne Haskins could turn around. an NFL franchise if given another opportunity. And I believe he will get another opportunity. I believe he should get another opportunity. I think the Carolina Panthers, they should be calling for Dwayne Haskins to bring him in potentially because they need a quarterback in the future, to sit behind Teddy Bridgewater for a little bit and develop. I believe Dwayne Haskins has more upside than Teddy Bridgewater. I believe that he can work with the New Orleans Saints. I believe Sean Payton could definitely fix him. I believe Dwayne Haskins, with that big-time arm, can do some great things in New Orleans. I believe he can do some great things with the Colts roster. They need a quarterback for the future. I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a good fit. They need a quarterback in the future. I believe the Minnesota Vikings could be a good fit for Dwayne Haskins because Kirk Cousins, he'll be due for a new contract in about 2 years, and I think Dwayne Haskins has more upside than him as an NFL quarterback. I believe in Dwayne Haskins' talent. However, if Dwayne Haskins wants to make it again as an NFL quarterback, he's going to have to mature very fast. He's going to have to grow up, okay? And I'm not saying Dwayne Haskins can't do that. I'm a believer in Dwayne Haskins, but it just goes to show you that you can be super talented, you can have the big arm, but if you can't steer the ship, and if you're immature on and off the field, then you're not going to make it in the NFL. And I think Dwayne Haskins got a big slice of humble pie, and I believe that Dwayne Haskins will learn from this. And it's not a guarantee that he will succeed. Going forward, his career very well could be over. I would not be shocked about that, but I think Dwayne Haskins will get another opportunity. We'll see what he does with it. Do I believe in Dwayne Haskins? Absolutely. But I will say this. I hope Dwayne Haskins realizes the opportunity that will be presented to him because usually you don't get second chances sometimes in the NFL, whether you're a first-round pick or not. Usually a first-round pick will get a second chance. And if Dwayne Haskins gets that second chance, I hope he takes advantage of it because the opportunity to be an NFL starting quarterback doesn't come around too often. And Dwayne Haskins, he's talented enough to become a great NFL quarterback one day. I believe in his arm talent. I believe that he has the special stuff to become a franchise quarterback one day. However, I just hope that Dwayne Haskins takes advantage of the opportunity and he does everything in his power to become a successful NFL quarterback because the last thing, if you're Dwayne Haskins, the last thing you want to happen is you retire from the NFL, you don't make the most of your second opportunity, you're out the league in about a couple of years, you don't get a second contract, and you think back when you're 45, 50 years old, you're watching all these great quarterbacks who maybe aren't as talented as you, dominating and winning games, and you probably think to yourself, man, if only I had taken it more seriously. So my message to Dwayne Haskins would be, hey, if you get another opportunity, take it and run with it and be ready for the challenge. So that is my thoughts on Dwayne Haskins as far as him being cut by the Washington football team and his future as a potential NFL franchise quarterback going forward. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.